You ever watch a movie or a TV show and say to yourself, I've seen that person in a bunch of stuff. What's their name? Or someone's explaining a movie to you and you ask, well, who's in it? And they say the person's name and you say, well, I don't know who that is. You pull up a photo of that person and suddenly you're like, holy shit, I know exactly who that is. They were that person and that thing. That is a lot in life of a solid character actor. Someone as recognizable as any superstar and has probably been in something with said superstar, but without the constant mob attention or all those terrible $100 million problems. A character actor works because they exemplify the real skill set of their craft. They have to deliver on a moment's notice, often without any of the attention the primary actors get, and are expected to nail it on every take. The character actor isn't the reason the scene is being shot 15 times. That's usually for damn sure. But every once in a while, the character actor breaks through. They find that something that propels them beyond the grocery clerk or the ninth build bad cop role. That chance lead role that really resonates with the public, or they win a major award and become so recognized they are constantly asked to sign autographs or have their photos taken. They finally get a little taste and appreciation for their dedication to their art. This is the territory of the Harry Dean Stantons, the Tilda Swintons, the James Gandolfinis. This is the territory of Mark Boone Jr., and we have him here on $5 Buzz.
All right, we're back. Boone, thank you for taking the time. I just wanted to thank you for taking the time today. I've seen a lot of your work and you've done a lot of dope shit. So thank you for the time. Tell us a little bit about growing up in Cincinnati. And if I'm not mistaken, the northern shore of Chicago, was that like the Lake Forest region? What part of Illinois were you in after you left Cincinnati?
I don't know. Do we have any time after that opening speech?
Yes.
About character actors? I didn't say.
Right.
Wait, so you're hey Boone, you're taking issue with my cold open?
It was so cold, man. It was cold, hard cold. The gritty life of a character actor. Just brutal. And it's so true.
Thank you.
No, it was great. It was obviously that, you were speaking from your own heart.
Yeah, this is absolutely correct, sir.
Yeah, exactly. So it was great actually. It was right on the money. Cincinnati, yeah, I grew up in Cincinnati. Cincinnati, I don't know, Midwest. It's different than the West Coast, and it's different from the East Coast. I've lived both places now, all three places, all three regions, and I've spent a lot of time in the South too, making movies down there, and but Midwest it's cool. It's different. The people are like, I don't know. There's something. They're just nicer or something for the most part.
So how does a fella from Big Ten country find his way out to the University of Vermont? I think you were playing soccer, and tell the people what Burlington, Vermont was like in, I guess it was the 1970s, would it be?
70s, yeah, early 70s. I was playing soccer. That was like one of my passions, I guess. But, I really thought I might want to play like professional soccer. And I'd been an athlete since I was so young. I just played baseball and basketball and then football. And then I discovered the wonders of the game of soccer. And very quickly just really dove into that sport. And whatever I did, I just wanted to get as far away from my parents as possible. So, who made a habit of showing up at every soccer game that I played. So I didn't really want that. I didn't really think I wanted to go to school. Early 70s was a different time, and I was, probably what people would call a hippie.
Well, that must have been an interesting town to be in, no?
What, Burlington?
Vermont? Yeah.
Burlington was,
town?
yeah. I mean, I was just in Middlebury, where my son lives now. So I was back in Vermont. I actually didn't go up to Burlington, but I've been there recently, and they've put some pretty hardcore rule laws in about changing the looks of Burlington. You can't build anything. They ruined it. I got one of those running around. Yeah. So you can't. So it still looks, like, turn of the century, and it's a beautiful town. Yeah.
You
And
said
yeah,
they fucked it up though.
huh?
Did you say they fucked it up though?
No, Burlington, no.
Oh, it's remained.
Well, they did. They actually allowed in in the probably the late 60s or something. They tore down a hunk of downtown, and then put up some really ugly buildings, but somehow they sort of stopped that
Okay.
quickly. So there's just this one section that has some not very good looking buildings.
They were very big on preserving the waterfront up there in the state of Vermont. Actually, my father lives in Burlington. I grew up in Plattsburgh, if you can believe it.
Right.
And the state of Vermont, there's actually a rule. They have no billboards on the highway, and they do their best to keep it as the Green Mountains as pretty as they possibly can.
Oh, it's so green.
Beautiful place up there.
Montpelier, it's the only state capital of the United States that does not have a fast food restaurant.
Montpelier?
Yeah.
Montpelier, it's a very beautiful town. It's right at the foot of the mountains, and really, really beautiful. I made a movie in Plattsburgh. We used to play the soccer. We played Plattsburgh, always beat them.
Yeah. Plattsburgh State, when you were at UVM?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, that was actually a big soccer town. I myself grew up playing soccer, and I mean, North Country in northern Vermont and North Country in northern New York are huge soccer areas for sure.
And I came from one in high school. The suburbs of Chicago back then, and St. Louis actually was, for some reason, like crazy soccer town.
Yeah.
Back then. I didn't end up playing pro soccer, but I played in the oldest league in America. I played in a thing called the German American League, or then became the Cosmopolitan League, and the North American Soccer League, which was the league that Pelé started. They built a league around Pelé. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the New York Cosmos and the blah 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 blah. Well, that New York Cosmos came out of that franchise came out of that league that I'm talking about, because it was all ethnically oriented. It all built on Greek, German, mm-hmm. English, Irish,
That's
Haitian,
incredible.
Ukrainian, a lot of the ethnicities in New York City, and it was a great league. Actually at that time the league started in 73, and when I was in New York, I started there in 77. Is when I moved there, or 76 or something around there. And so that league had just started, and all the local players from that league played in that league that I was playing in the Cosmopolitan League. It was whatever.
Quite an experience. Amazing.
Why did you stop though? What happened?
Why did I stop it? Have I told you this story, Roger? About
you may have, but I'd like
to
hear.
the last season that I played in that league, I I was pretty brutal kind of player. Like, I mean, I was very physical and also, I mean, if I can say, very smart.
Boom, were
Smart,
the enforcer?
skilled, physical player. I was really would have played. I would have played pro if my college coach didn't hate my guts and didn't give me a letter that would have gotten me drafted into that league. And that's a real story. But anyway, I wouldn't have had the life that I've had. So but so in this one of the early games of the last season that I played organized soccer, I committed a foul, but I didn't think it was a foul, and it was an Italian, probably very religiously Catholic Italian, and from across the field, I called him a mother.
Yeah.
And he immediately, gave me a yellow card, which is like a warning.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded every game that I played in that league, he showed up and refereed it. And then the first time I would touch the ball, he would, no matter what,
Oh my God.
he would blow the whistle and I would get a yellow card. So I was on like, little,
The eternal shit list.
it was
Oh.
it was incredible. So I just like, and then I started to get, that's when I started to get it was independent movie work. I think I got a job doing a movie, Leandro Katz, who is like a great artist.
Mhm.
I think I got my first movie right then, but a movie that I can't remember the name of it now, but a movie that was made up exclusively of stills. He shot like with one of those cameras that went,
Yeah.
and then he animated it all together, and then and it was in the Cahiers du Cinema.
Yeah, like a flip book kind of a
Yeah.
thing, right? Like an animated, but also not unlike La Jetée, too, the classic French film.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I say, it was in there was an article about it in Cahiers du Cinema back then in the that was, I don't know when that was, 79, something like that.
And so that would be one of your very first film roles that you ever had. I
Yeah,
mean,
that was in New York. That was in New York. I moved to New York, and I thought I was, gonna be, I don't know what I thought. I was gonna be a painter or something. I was doing a lot of painting. I did a lot of photography and painting and printmaking, a lot of printmaking, a lot of clay. I worked a lot with clay in those mid 70s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, lots of clay.
I knew you were interested in being an artist first. I mean, when you
Yeah.
didn't realize what mediums you were necessarily.
Yeah, but people were always trying to. I don't know. I started very early on. People would go like, "You should be an actor," or "You wait, yeah," and people tried to get me into theater stuff in schools and stuff like that. I don't know, because
I mean, it's
big
it's
mouth.
amazing to say that, like, though there is I feel like there's a correlation between artists and good actors. I mean, if you see a lot of the great actors of our time, they all started similarly. Photographers. Dennis Hopper was a big photographer. I think you can find a lot of them are musicians or artists in some respect.
Beyond.
As far as beyond acting.
I mean, the really good ones.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I never say that I'm an actor. That's not really what I go around say, hey, I'm an actor.
well, what do you go around telling people?
I don't know. A lot of people I say, I get a lot of action, on the street very often. And I get a lot of, are you an actor? That's like or they recognize me from specific things, And when generally when they ask, are you an actor? I'm like, I do get accused of that often. So that's about as far as I go on that one.
Boone, can you tell the listeners what the 1970s New York City was like when you arrived?
When I moved there, New York had been bankrupt literally 6 months before I moved there. There was.
This is the Deacons era, right?
Koch, probably, right?
No.
No, it's
No, it's A Beam.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
A
right, yeah.
Beam,
That's right.
who was,
This is
I don't know. He probably got a lot of payback. I don't know what that dude was up to, but he was out like right before I moved there, and he bankrupted the city. Quite literally, it was bankrupt. So nothing worked really. There was, the roads were like mountain.
no one would go on the subway. It was like the Warriors, or it was like Taxi Drive, or it was that era, correct?
Well, everybody had to go on the subway, but it was really up there. There was a guy who'd get on the subway regular. I've been trained by the army to kill in 35 ways. I don't want to kill, but I need money. I need money now. And he did that. That dude rode the subways for years, and he made a lot of money.
Yeah.
And that was when I can't remember that dude's name, who shot like 4 guys in the subway.
Oh, Bernard Getz.
Bernard Getz. Yeah.
Bernard Getz.
That was all, it's all going on. It was, and graffiti everywhere. I was in the first lead in a movie I got was called Landlord Blues. Burkhart, his name, Jacob Burkhart. I think his father was a filmmaker too. Good one. And he was making a movie. He wanted to make a movie. I was the lead in that movie. And I think in the last year or something, I hadn't seen it in years and years and years. I don't even know if I ever saw it, truthfully. And he sent me a copy of it, and we shot it all over the Lower East Side. There was so much graffiti everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Covering every building, every surface. That's the time of Jean-Michel Basquiat, who I knew, who was 16 years old when I moved to New York City, and I wasn't that much older. He was going out with Esther Ballant when they were 16. And not only were there were empty lots everywhere, and those were community gardens, or they were forests. I mean, with trees, like, trees, that big around.
Yeah.
And so they'd been growing there for a while.
And Boone, there was some decent rock and roll being played in that part of New York, right?
Everybody was in a band. Everybody had a band. It was, CBGB's, I lived on the Lower East Side. My first apartment was on St. Mark's Place, right off of 3rd Avenue, literally the first building on the north side.
Right.
And I lived there for a couple of years or two. I don't know. Few years. I got a job in an African arts gallery, faking African art. And then CBGB's was, right down there. I never went to CBGB's. I went to a lot of other clubs. It was the time of disco, actually, what was going on there. And when I moved there, and to parties where there were 100 people, dun, 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 and all doing the hustle, together. They all knew the steps. Like, it was like, no, okay, out. But punk came in right then, and it was and
you had
house,
the Mud Club and Max's Kansas City and CBGB's and all those places.
Max's died like right then, when I moved there. but there was one university that was where a lot of people who were Max's Kansas City moved over there. You know, I met a guy named Tom Wright who produced Underground USA and was a
Right.
star in that movie. Eric Mitchell.
Eric Mitchell's film. You were in a couple of
directed
Eric
it.
Mitchell stuff.
Huh?
You were in a couple of Eric Mitchell stuff too.
I was in The Way It Is, Eric Mitchell.
Right.
Just one movie. Steve,
Okay.
Eric Mitchell with Steve Buscemi. Well, what's his name? Oh God, the guy, you know,
Wait, describe him.
Vinny, Vincent Gallo.
It's a Gallo.
Vincent Gallo, he was like 18. That was his first movie, I believe.
Buffalo 66.
No, not he didn't make it. The
No,
way
no,
it is.
no. He was saying, he was verifying that same guy who did Buffalo 66.
Okay.
Yes, it is the same guy who eventually.
Vincent Gallo was acted in The Way It Is.
Right, that's right.
His first movie. He would Vinny was like this dude who would change everything like 6 months. One time he's driving cars across the country. Then the next 6 months later, he's always in bike gear. He's like got the fanciest bikes. He's riding all over, and he collected. He used to collect. I don't know if he's still doing it. Guitars and sell them in like. Vinny made a shit ton of money selling old guitars.
Right.
Good guitars. Very, unique guitars. And cars.
Yeah, you were also Rockets regular was in that with you too.
The Way It Is?
Yes.
No.
Yep, it says right here in Wikipedia, man.
Was Rockets in that? Yeah. Well, that's how I got that. The first acting that not the first acting, I guess, but I started Rockets wanted to start a
Cabaret.
a cabaret, taxi cabaret. You know about this?
I do.
Yeah, well, he was working at a place called the Red Bar. He was the doorman. I was a bartender there. It was an art bar where all the every artist that now was at that would come in this way. It was like a bathroom with a big red Formica bar in it. Really, painted white, big red rhombus.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rockets started. I had to break up so many fights. The Rockets started, as the doorman, and
Well, if the place was that small, I mean, he would take up half the room on himself.
no, it wasn't as small as a bathroom, but it was like a regular storefront. It was on the corner of 7th and 1st Avenue.
Okay, I know exactly where that's at.
It was a hardware store. I don't know what it is now.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we started a cabaret in down the block. It's called in a club called Late Again, and that's where I did Tom Wright and I did a series called the Manhood series, in which Steve was it was a thing of us going across the country, and the first episode was with John Lurie.
Yeah.
And we wrote an episode about fishing with John Lurie, which he then later turned into a series called Fishing with John Lurie.
Fishing with John. That's oh my god.
Yeah, we did a thing where
The band
ours was a fiction, and we met him out in the woods. Tom and I were driving across country and stopped to fish, and then he comes walking up, and he, whatever, his character was suicidal, and he had just broken up with his wife, and it's funny how art mirrors life. I know, I'm kidding. have you seen John? Did you see John's new show, The Painting with John?
I have not
No.
seen that show yet. No.
Oh, you haven't heard that? Because
No,
he's
I
been a
heard it.
painter. He's been painting for years now, and great paintings, beautiful paintings.
For those people who don't know who John Lurie is, John Lurie was a musician in a band called Lounge Lizards with Arto Lindsay from DNA, and he also, famously got the lead role in the Jim Jarmusch picture that put them both on the map. I guess a little more mainstream for Stranger Than Paradise.
Well, Stranger Than Paradise was like made more money than any independent movie had made at the time. Like, I think it was like that it topped like $1 million in
86.
Something like that. Really?
Yeah.
86?
It came out 80, it's 85 or 86, right around that time. The same time as the movie Birdie came out.
With
and,
which
and also Spite and also She's Gotta Have It. It's about the same year.
and that also starred Esther Ballin.
That's correct.
And yeah.
You told us some stories about Stranger Than Paradise. Is there anything you want to elaborate on?
Stranger in Paradise?
Yeah.
About that?
Yeah. There's something special about that movie and you?
Really? Well,
okay. We can move on. You told me
I can't remember. I mean, that's Esther Ballin. I ended up living with Esther Ballin for a number of years in New York, but I didn't meet her there through that.
No, I know that. You had a different take on the story. I think you were at one point were you up for a role in the movie?
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, Richard Edson and
yes,
and yeah, no, Jarmusch came to that series that manhood series that Tom and I were doing, and it was about driving and across the country, and in that show they drive across the country, and it was spookily, eerily similar to what Tom and I were doing in that series.
Okay.
But Jarmusch showed up there. But yeah, that movie's a damn good movie. I don't take anything from that movie.
No, Jarmusch is one of our finest directors and an institution unto himself. So around that time, so you're building up steam. You and Buscemi are doing Taxi Cabaret, and you're doing stand-up comedy too, I believe, at that time.
No,
right?
we didn't do any. Steve and I never did stand-up comedy.
No, but you did.
No, I didn't. He did. Steve.
Okay.
When I met Steve,
getting my timelines all fucked up.
Yeah, no. Well, Steve had he did stuff at the Improv and stuff like that. When Steve actually, how all that happened, he lived on 10th Street, and that bar was there. He used to come in the Red Bar. The first thing, Steve and I did some performance art thing, and that's how we met in the bar. But Tom, that guy Tom Wright, who actually just died very recently. I just did a memorial for him this past weekend, unfortunately. But he had come to town with Linda Hamilton from the Eastern Shore of Maryland, and they both went to Strasberg Institute, where Steve, when Steve was 17, went to the Strasberg Institute also, and he partnered up in an acting class with Linda Hamilton. And so Tom was like, guys, it's my girlfriend doing scenes, and it. So he knew Steve from that. And when he walked into the bar, he was like, then that was years later. I mean, years later.
So when do you start, let's just say, when, not Mr. Not Actor, when do you start becoming more involved in
Steve after Tom and I, like, we did that series at the Manhood in the Taxi Cabaret, and then we had some fight or something, and then I wanted to continue doing stuff, and so I partnered with a woman named Jessica Stutchbury. Then we needed another character, so I thought, oh, get Steve. And that's when Steve and I started working together. Right. And like we did that thing with Jessica, and then that sort of that moment on for the next 8-9 years or something, 8 years, we did many shows in New York City at all over at these little clubs, Club Da Rinca, you know, and we ended up doing the last shows that we did together at La Mama,
Yeah.
which was a,
I know who she is. Yeah.
well, that's Ellen Stewart, but we weren't really associated with that. It was a program, they called it La Mama, et cetera, about local people actually, weren't. Ellen had always had international, really well-known theater groups come in and stuff like that. We did a bunch of shows there.
And then
That
is that how you guys, because you both ended up in New York Stories, right? The Scorsese bit. Right?
New York Stories. Well, that's, yeah. I'm sort of in that.
Right. I know you're sort of in that. I realize that Steve got the bigger.
Steve did a part of a monologue from one of our shows.
That's what I was getting to.
In that movie, and then I was supposed to be his friend who walks up and greets him after he comes off of stage, and he's got something going on with Roseanne Arquette and blah 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 blah, who was at the time living with Peter Gabriel, and
it's in the movie too.
Well, Peter Gabriel actually all day long, I was there waiting, and I actually with Nick Nolte, Steve and I were in Nick's dressing room, which was like one of the VIP rooms in this big thing called the Tunnel. And so we just were in there talking all day. He just invited us in there, and we just spent the whole day in there. And the scene that Steve and I were doing was late in the day. And so I show up at the to shoot the scene, and there's Peter Gabriel, and Martin Scorsese has decided to give him my part. And he's talking to Peter, blah 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 blah, because Roseanne had been following Martin around all day, going like, Peter's got to do the thing but you got to give him a part. I swear. Anyway, and so Scorsese's talking to Peter, blah blah blah. Lizzie, I want you to, blah 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 blah. And I come in, and he goes, oh, and Scorsese goes, oh, and you follow him in to me. Now, I'm like, really? No, I'm the principal here. If you didn't want me to do that part, then just, send me home. Give me the little squandly little money that I would make, and just say, thank you for coming in. Maybe we could work together again sometime. Right?
Yeah.
Well, no, he didn't say that.
No, and Boone, you also ended up doing it.
No, what happened is Scorsese walks away. Peter immediately turns to me and goes like, I don't want to do this. I don't know what am I supposed to do? I don't know how to act. What am I supposed to do you know what? And I said, okay, Peter, this is what you do. We walk in, and you just go, hey, how you doing? And oh, this is my friend, whatever, I can't remember the name. And I said, I'll take it from there. And that's what I did. And I came in, he did that. He said, oh, that's good. Okay, that's good. And I walked in with him, drunk, acting, drunk, out of my mind.
Hey, you were with Nick Nolte all day, so
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I didn't see Nick for 25 years. I'm at an audition for that black and white movie, Nebraska.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Alexander Payne. Yeah.
Yes. Nick and I almost ended up doing that movie, Father and Son. That we were in the running until the very latest thing. And we met and he comes out, he was in the room before with Payne and everybody right before me, and I had been waiting, and he came out and he's like, Boone! Hadn't seen me for 25 years from this day that I'm describing.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I was like, what the fuck? Because we had a great time in there all day. And so anyway, the assistant director, cut, comes running in. He goes like, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't.
Acting drunk.
I'm like, yeah, acting. Came in like, yo, what's up, man? You know, like just fuck you, Martin Scorsese. Anyway,
Go home and get your
really,
shine back.
no respect. You talk about character actor, no respect. All you had to do was say, thank you for coming, ba 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 ba, but not this.
Instead, Peter Gabriel gets it, and you're teaching Peter Gabriel how to act.
Whatever, yeah. So you follow him in. I'm like,
brutal.
This guy's got a couple of fancy videos with some fancy animation.
Yeah. Peter Gabriel's great, but anyway,
of course.
So I did it even worse. The second time, I'm even worse. More drunk, more loud, ridiculous. They had to change the whole scene. It was this big swooping camera in a big crowd. They had to change the whole scene, and of course, I have never worked with Martin. Hey, how you doing, Martin? And that's unfortunate. He missed out, and I did too.
He sounds like that man keeping score in the soccer matches, man.
The ref.
Respect is a big deal. You got to respect people.
Absolutely.
Wait, what would you say was other than your little time, what would you say was the first like real big role that you had, in a bigger movie, beyond, I know that there was stalwart of the independent scene, certainly, and in and out.
I didn't really aspire to do big movies.
I know you didn't. I'm just asking you.
But
I'm not trying to categorize you in that way. I'm just
the biggest movie. I never have had a really big role in a big movie. I mean, oh no, I had a pretty substantial role in Quick and the Dead.
Yes.
I had I'd say was in a substantial role.
It was.
It's
like you were in Die Hard 2. How big was your role in Die Hard 2? I don't remember.
Die Hard 2 was a very small role.
Right. Okay.
But that changed my life because I, had never made that. That was when they actually did respect character actors. And, that's the craziest thing. There were 10, guys who got hired to be, the bad guys.
The bad guys.
They lined us up. Rennie Harlan.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe, I guess the producer, Joel
Silver. Yeah.
One of the more incredible producers in the world. Anyway. And they lined us up out, they got us together, like, I don't know, a month before or something like that, and lined us up, and they just walked down the line of us and going like, oh, you should be, which guy should he be? I don't know, Jerry. You can be Jerry. I swear to God, that's how they cast those 10 parts.
Oh, Lord.
That's how they cast those 10 parts. Then they walk down, like, yeah, okay. What's that guy? Does he kill anybody? No. He's like, okay, yeah, Okay, Martin, good. Okay, like that. So
well, one of those guys that was one of your henchmen with you.
who?
I know Don Harvey.
Don. Yeah, Don. I didn't do any scenes with Don.
Yeah, and Leguizamo was one of the henchmen.
Leguizamo's great. I did a Columbia a graduate film with Leguizamo before that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's an interesting kind of club you guys are all in, though. That character actors. It's sad to hear that they don't. You're saying they don't respect character actors anymore, which I fear is probably true. But what an awesome, group to be put into if you had to be.
Oh yeah, and the history of character actors.
Absolutely.
Oh, God.
Absolutely, man.
The great Tom Mitchell and all. I mean,
did you say Thomas Mitchell?
Yes, I said Thomas Mitchell.
You talking about from Gone with the Wind?
He's in Gone with the Wind. The guy won like 4 Oscars.
Oh, he's only won one, and that was for the Stagecoach in 1939. And
he only won one. Well, he was nominated.
Yeah, I mean, the guy who's won the most Oscars, 3, is what's his face?
Cazale?
No.
The guy with the limp, the real McCoy.
The character actors of character actors. That's right. You know who I'm talking about.
Who? God, he's in so many movies, and he's great. He's awesome.
I know. It's like at the top of my fucking. Okay, he's like in the Kentuckian.
No, he's in the movie with Meet John Doe. He plays the sidekick. Come on. Oh no, he's in so many. I know.
He's an icon. He's a fucking icon. God damn.
I'll remember by the end of this thing.
Oh my God, this is my Walter Brennan.
Walter Brennan.
Yep.
Almighty. Yeah. Well, he won 3 Oscars for Come and Get It, Kentucky, and The Westerner, and he's.
But he deserves so many more.
Yeah. And
anyway, we could go on about Lionel Barrymore, blah 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 blah. Is Lionel Barrymore a character actor? Is what I mean?
Peter Lorre. You could talk about. It's like yeah. Christopher Lee.
I wanted to, before we go too much further, I wanted to congratulate you. I understand you're a dad to a fairly new child.
A new generation of children. There's a couple of generations in between my other children.
That's fantastic, man. Congratulations. I myself am going to be a new father next month. And, actually my wife worked with you on American Romance.
Wow.
And she sends her best. You guys met Vanessa. Roger had reminded me right when I first met her. You guys had just finished up that film in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, I believe, right?
Yeah, Post Falls, Idaho.
Beautiful.
Did that movie come out even?
Yeah, it was on Showtime.
Oh, good. God, I missed that one.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Hey, Boone. Pete, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, Boone, I was going to say one film that I just watched prior to having this conversation was a motion picture called Memento. And one of the things that struck me about that film is one of the last time I saw it was in a movie theater in Long Island, New York. And just watched it 2 days ago. And it really brings us back to the analog world prior to pre-cell phone, even small things, seeing books, Guy Pearce talking on a landline. Just such a great piece of filmmaking, and you had a great role. Every time you were on this the screen, it really moved the story forward. And I think, Roger, what you said in the opening really resonated, that nothing was wasted. Boone, every time you're on the scene, it really made an impact. And I think Carrie-Anne Moss and Joe Pantoliano were coming off The Matrix, and what was that experience like making that film? Because it still resonates today. I think it's 20 plus years later. And what was it like meeting Nolan? Did it feel like this guy was on a trajectory at the time, or was there something significant about him? What do you remember about
that movie was, I got the script for that movie and started to read the script, and I just read like 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 5 pages, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
So then by the 20th page, I'd say, in the movie, I had thrown that script like across the room, like I don't know how many times. It was, because I'm like, there's something going on here. Something is going on here. I know it. I can feel it. There's something going on. And I just couldn't figure it out. It really pissed me off. And I threw that script. I just destroyed that script. I had to put it together again so many times. And I was like, get to the end. I'm like, what?
I thought I had the movie figured out till I saw the very last couple of minutes, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I thought I did, but I still don't.
Okay, you still don't. You don't know the secret?
Well, I did not. I know there's a version where they show the whole picture in sequence, but I haven't seen that version.
No, but it is literally backward. That's cute, Chris. And when we were making it, I'm like, okay, Nolan, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on? What? Come on, what's going on, man? You can't just do that. You can't. I know there's something going. What is? Come on. And yep, zip. No, would not tell. And here you have, guy. He's got these books that he has made to make it. Do you know this? He's got these books so that he kind of knows where he is in the script,
In the narrative.
He was completely, on fucking Nolan didn't tell him either.
So he was in the dark as well. Wow.
In the dark. And he was like,
performance.
He didn't have to act much, I mean, he was like very confused. And
good directing.
he was like, yeah.
The other interesting thing about that film, Boone, was it was shot, Roger, I think, in a part of LA called Tujunga. Am I saying that right? You don't really see that part of
Tahunga.
Yeah. Hey guys, I got the Long Island accent, so let me apologize. But you don't really see that film too often in the pictures that I've seen. Did they film a lot of
in Tahunga? I think I've made, well, Sons of Anarchy, the home of the street of the club,
Main club
was in Tahunga.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
2 blocks from where we shot the hotel stuff.
Right.
And I think I've shot 3 other movies within a 5-block area in Tahunga.
It must be my East Coast bias, but I'm trying to be self-depreciating. But I really like the way that I think he shot a lot of the film early morning. Just the way the movie is just it really holds up, man. And it really, I just love the analog world. I'm a romantic for that time before the cell phone, before email, and there's just something about that time period. It just really resonates with me, and it's such a great fucking movie, man.
So I've been in some really good movies. That's one of them. That one is a really good one, and some pretty good TV. I mean, Patriot. Yeah. I don't know if you know that series, but that's really good show. I've been in a bunch of good stuff, actually.
What is your, I mean, that's a good question, Boone. I mean, what are some of the favorite stuff that you were part of?
Patriot is that character that I play in Patriot. I just love that character. He's it's finally something, he's such the sweetest man on earth.
You don't get that very often.
No, I don't. I mean, no, I don't. But it's that's fun. I mean, Trees Lounge is you know, just such a great movie. And that was the Steve Buscemi and I were partners for about 8 years. I don't know. We did many shows in New York City, and that movie was kind of the end of, was like put a period on that 8-year friendship or working together.
And what a way to go out. That's a phenomenal picture. I love that movie to death.
And the Sopranos, who's David, who made
Milch, I believe. No,
David, not Milch.
no, that was Deadwood.
Yeah,
David Chase.
Chase, yes, Chase.
Yeah, he told Steve that he based, that the Sopranos, the kernel that started it was Trees Lounge.
Right.
Oh wow.
Because it's like if you look at Trees Lounge and then watch the Sopranos, it's the thematic and also the stylistic, because the Sopranos is kind of funny, but there's no jokes, and Trees Lounge there's no joke, and it would nobody, but it's funny in very much the same way. He got it right, he just went like, ooh, that's a gem, right? That style is a real gem. Family, funny, weird, stupid shit, and
dark at the same time.
And dark. And Trees Lounge is dark,
It is definitely dark.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's, you bring up the Sopranos, and you've got, as Roger had mentioned earlier, you come upon this role in Sons of Anarchy, and it's certainly fair to say that show can be in that higher level of the long form storytelling that Sopranos, Oz, 6 Feet Under, and those types of shows kind of started with HBO back then. But I think it's just fitting that you would be a part of a show as, I think, culturally important as Sons of Anarchy is, right up there with all those other original long form. And at that, I mean, do you think that's more the way we're going to be seeing stories told moving forward? And are those the more interesting roles now for someone like you?
What do you mean, like murderous?
Like, no, like getting involved in that long form and that long road of being on a show like that. Was that a great experience, or was that just another experience kind of thing?
A brutal 7 years.
It was.
Oh yeah. I mean, the things that we had to do, I don't even want to list them.
Yeah.
The horrors of going to work that we did as a club to people.
Yeah.
But I mean, me, Charlie, Hunnam, Tommy, and DL really, and Kim to some degree. We tried to make the best of it. It really was brutal, and just the nature of the show, and there was no relief really.
Yeah, it translated on screen. I mean, you guys always looked physically punished to some sense,
that because we shot it in the middle of summer in leathers in the valley, in
Tahunga.
105 degrees, 100. One season it was like 3 weeks straight, 112. I mean,
wow.
it was so brutal. But anyway, as far as storytelling, I thought that when cable came and when it really felt to me like an opportunity to tell stories exactly how they should be told. I think unfortunately that has kind of gotten perverted by the success of television shows like the Sons of Anarchy or whatever, because the people want to keep them going because they make a lot of money.
It's a cash cow.
And I think there's lately there's maybe it's the pandemic, but I get the feeling that there's a bit of an adjustment there where the people are going to, maybe go back to or go to the idea. Okay, there's a story. If it's 10 episodes, it should be 10 episodes. If it's to be 3 episodes, it should be 3 episodes. I think what's happened is people, producers particularly, realize that nothing has to disappear. So if something's good, you can always find it now. You can always find a place for it to make some money, to keep it going, and to get and that it spreads its influence wherever, and people talk and blah blah blah. The Sons of Anarchy, there's still people like fresh people getting acquainted with that, and they come up to it. And I mean, I did an episode of the Manchurian. I mean,
The
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
What is that? That thing has been seen by 1 billion people now, like literally. So
that was a question I was going to ask you. What was it like working on the XR stage?
that was very easy. I mean, green screen is such a pain in the ass, and that it's you got the camera. I don't know if anybody, if you need an explanation, but the cameras is hooked up to the environ. So when they move the camera, it moves, and then you're in an environment. I mean, I was in the environment I was in was a big environment.
Yes.
The place where I was.
I saw the episode. Yes.
My hot chop shop of space vehicles. So that was different than, I don't know how. I mean, it seems like a lot of the stuff is in that kind of big environment. So it's becoming, and I'm about to embark on. I can't really talk about it too much right now, but I'm about to embark on a situation where I'll be working on 2 of those stages for about probably a couple of years, and it's an interesting process in that what this is, the Mandalorian or the Lion King or Lion King 2 or those are big movies that can afford those stages that are not cost effective for smaller productions. But now that's actually starting to change, and that's what I was getting at, that will become more of a process in the future, and will be affordable for people who want to tell smaller stories even, and yet still create an ultra realistic environment using the XR stage as well as what they call Unreal Engine effects, which could be used for even something as simple as like the Wolf of Wall Street. Something you wouldn't think of using a stage like that actually is utilized quite well for what they call set extensions and so forth that they can do in that environment. That's not necessarily just a science fiction or fantasy element or no, of
narrative.
course not. No.
It beats,
I'll tell you what,
it beats
though.
112 degrees in Tahunga in leather clothes.
I'll tell you what, though, guys, with all the advancements in technology and, call me old fashioned, but Boone, just seeing the filming on location at that old motel in Memento and just seeing LA back, I don't know, something about that filmmaking just really resonated with me. And, I wish that the world would more resonate with the analog world. I know, Roger, I'm super old fashioned, but I really appreciated that. And I don't know, man, just
I agree. I mean, I agree.
Physicalness of just like being there and being present and just doing it on, acting like Roger said in the open. You don't have to do 15 takes. You know your role, where you have to be, the lighting is correct. And I'm not even a professional. I'm just a consumer of the content. And I'd watch a movie like Memento fucking 1,000 times before I watched, one of these fancy productions. But I'm an old-fashioned guy. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, me too. But I just want to say, Roger, why haven't you told me about this thing that you're doing? I expect a call pretty soon.
Okay, you
Just
will.
like,
Yeah.
whatever.
You're
Just-
not. You're not gonna like the actual content I'm creating.
Oh God.
Don't worry about. Yeah. So the Western I'm about to be making, though, that's the phone call you'll be getting from me.
Okay. Good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that too. I haven't done an odor in my life, and I've always wanted to. I love a good Western.
Me too.
Boone, what film were you doing in Plattsburgh?
Yeah.
Plattsburgh was Frozen River. See, I've been in some really good movies, man. Frozen River is
Yeah.
a freaking amazing movie. That is an amazing movie. Great acting, great writing, great, everything. I mean, that movie was made for $250,000 all in.
Incredible, isn't it?
And it got 2 nominations for Oscars.
Yes.
I mean, there's not. I mean, even the first movies nominated for Oscars in like 28 or whatever it was, that they weren't made for $250,000. Not a movie in the history of Oscarism was a movie.
That's an incredible accomplishment.
That's
Actually,
not true. There was a movie called Once that was nominated for an Academy Award. That was a feature-length motion picture that only cost $10,000, and it's a musical, and it was nominated for Best Score.
Okay, man. I stand corrected. I'm really sorry.
There goes Raj.
I absolutely stand corrected.
Hey, man, you got to work with the great Melissa Leo, and of course, I was running a department at Sundance at that time, and that was a huge Sundance. It won the grand jury prize.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that we like to do here, Boone, is we always try to add a little musical playlist on Spotify to accompany, one of our episodes. And, I know that you are a musician. You like to play music. I know you're driven towards more of a, you love blues, obviously. I know you're a blues fan. It was
I'm not really a blues man, no.
No, I said blues fan. I didn't say
blues fan.
Man.
Toronto Blue Jays, you mean? Or
Yeah.
no? St. Louis Blues.
St. Louis Blues. Brett Hall.
I'm pretty big.
Like
I mean, I really have very large musical tastes.
I know you do.
Anyway,
I just throw out some fine if we were going to have something that represented you in any way, shape, or form, you can even email us afterwards. You don't even have to tell us. But if you had some anything you're listening to right now that interests you, that's
it's weird. For that memorial that I did for Tom Wright, I wrote a song. So that's the only, when I'm writing a song, I don't listen to really any music. I can't listen to any other music.
Well, that's another thing. Where can I find your stuff on Spotify? You got anything on there?
No, I don't put anything up on Spotify. If you want to support musicians, you should subscribe to Tidal, because they pay musicians.
TITLE?
TIDAL, right?
Tidal.
Didn't he sell that? That's Jay-Z's firm, right?
It was Jay-Z's. Did he sell it?
I think he did.
Oh, and maybe the new one, people don't pay the musicians. Yeah, it's probably true.
Well, we know Jay-Z got paid, and then
yeah, he got paid.
Everyone else is holding the bag.
Yeah, oh yeah, he got paid. As far as music, I'm just so I have been really my entire life shy about my musical thing. I'm trying. I mean, this song that I wrote for this friend of mine for 40 years is kind of I thought I was gonna. I mean, I was really worried about not being able to get through it at the memorial, and I did. And I hope it's kind of a springboard to tell me, get your ass in gear. I mean, and put some music down in the studio, because I haven't in a long time.
Right.
I
Okay.
really.
My heart goes out to you, man. That's not an easy. Thing
Oh
to
yeah,
endure.
no, that was rough. That was, yeah.
Well,
I mean, he studied under Nicholas Ray. The last thing that Ray did in at NYU, that
Lightning Over Water.
Jarmusch was in that master class.
Yeah, that was a movie called Lightning Over Water, and that was
Yeah, but that, I mean, he was teaching a class at NYU.
right. Oh, okay.
And Sarah, Jarmusch's wife.
Yes,
Jarmusch.
I know you're talking about his editor.
No, it's
It's wife. And she edits movies
she's
too.
a filmmaker herself, Sarah Driver.
Driver, right? She
Yeah.
was early editor
Oh, maybe so, but
and producer.
and Tom, and so it was Nicholas Ray. What a man to be hanging around. I mean,
Did you know him?
No, I didn't, but you can just he's talk about great filmmakers.
Oh yeah, Nicholas Ray is one of the I mean, they used to
Lonely Place. Oh my God.
That's a phenomenal picture. What did I just see recently? I saw one of his films that it was the first movie John Derek was ever in. The guy who would go on to become Bo Derek's husband and the filmmaker. But it was one of his earliest films.
Wow.
And it wasn't great. It was Humphrey Bogart, Knock on Any Door.
Yeah, Knock on Any Door. I knew that's what that was. Yeah.
Knock on Any Door. I just saw that recently. And They
No,
Live by Night.
That's not a great movie, but it's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, They Live by Night, Johnny Guitar in a Lonely Place. It's when he is, and of course, his biggest movie, James Dean.
Rebel Without a Cause.
Without a Cause.
Rebel Without a Cause, but he did Rebel Without a Cause, and he also did 55 Days Over Peking, and he did the Jesus movie that with Jeffrey Hunter.
The King of Kings.
King of Kings.
Yeah, that's right.
Did all that. I mean, there's a lot of good Nick Ray stories, man.
I know.
About
well, first of all, about his wife and his son.
that's about the In a Lonely Place.
Yes.
He was married to Gloria Graham.
Yeah.
And he wrote In a Lonely Place.
Yeah.
He took it to the studio, and he wanted Humphrey Bogart and Gloria Graham to do it, and they wouldn't do it with Gloria Graham. And for a year and a half, he refused to do the thing, and then finally they broke down. This day that he fucking brought home the contract for her to do the movie, she handed him divorce papers and married his son. That's the fucking story.
Yeah. Well, Godard famously wrote, "Cinema is Nicholas Ray" in Cahiers du Cinema a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Boone, it's been over an hour, my friend, and
Okay.
I think we can make this thing go for days on end. I mean,
Well, it's just fun talking to you, Roger.
I can't wait. We should get together soon. You cool hanging out these days?
I mean, I'm about to leave on a trip for about 2 months, but I'm driving all over the country with we have an Airstream, and we're gonna.
Oh, that's
awesome!
Great.
We gotta visit this. We got a wedding, then we gotta go to northern Wisconsin, then I gotta go to Orlando, and then blah blah blah, all over the place.
When do you think that you're gonna start that?
Starting that in like 2 weeks.
Okay. So, well, maybe in the next 2 weeks we get together and go get something to eat.
That might not happen.
Oh,
there's so much to do that I'm like, I just got back from this trip and the blah blah blah, and I started making a list today. I'm like, oh my god.
All right.
That's cool. We can try. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay. All right. Well, any last ups, guys, for our man Boone?
I'll just say, Boone, coming into this episode, I looked at your resume, and I said to myself, man, this dude has just been working nonstop for many years, and he's got the career that most actors should be envious of. And just listening to your stories, I'm even more, I don't know what the right adjective is, impressed, or you're as legit as it gets, man. So thank you for taking the time, and I appreciate being able to talk to you, man. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, Boone, it was a pleasure, man, and fascinating, journey. You took us from Cincinnati to Vermont to New York and all around and everywhere in between. It's really been, and Tahunga too. It's been awesome, man. Thank you so much, and it's really great meeting you.
If you could document that trip, that'd be cool, man. If you could do just like a check-in from the road, I would love to see what you're doing, because it sounds like you're going to a lot of cool places, man.
We'll see. It's get in the car with an 18-month-old and
not the easiest.
And driving that she's fantastic, but who knows how she'll hold up. But and then 2 dogs. I got a year-old crazy cattle.
So awesome.
It's gonna be an adventure, man.
We're gonna be missing the chicken. Who we had a chicken that did about 30,000 miles, laid eggs in 13 states and on a plane and all kinds of, and she just passed. So,
oh man,
miss her. She laid a lot of eggs in the car driving down the road. Baby D's gone, but the memory of Baby D is very much here.
So awesome, man. This one's for Baby D.
Baby Boone, and I love you, and we'll talk soon. And again, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate it, my brother.
Yeah, thank you, Raj.
And that is the this episode of $5 Buzz. Please remember to hit subscribe or like if you're enjoying what you hear, and please or email us with any questions or comments you might have, or any future topics or guests you might have ideas for at $5 Buzz. That's FIVEDOLLAR BUZZ@gmail.com. And we'll get back to you straight away.
Wait, I get $5 for this, right?
That's right.
That's about. I expect that check in the mail, baby.
That's right. You'll get $5, baby. And don't you go spending that unwisely.
Oh no.
All right. Big love, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you. Yeah.